How you doing, everybody? This is Kurt Henry at the Mortgage Center with my dad Randy, and this is a weekly mortgage update just to let you know what's going on in the mortgage market. So in terms of mortgage rates, a 5-year fixed rate is in around 3.09% or so, a little bit higher or lower depending on the situation, and a variable rate is around 2.9%. Again, that could be lower or higher just depending on the situation. A few people are asking me about closing costs, and just to discuss a little bit about what closing costs are and just a general idea of how much to budget for closing costs. So if you're looking at purchasing a house, closing costs, you could think of closing costs as an umbrella. And under that umbrella, there's certain things. So within the closing costs, you would have things like lawyers' fees. There's also land transfer tax. Land transfer tax is, if you're a first-time buyer, you don't have to pay up to $2,000 of land transfer tax. So that's kind of nice. And people talk about real estate fees. If you're buying a house for the first time and you're not selling a house, you're not paying any real estate fees whatsoever. There's no cost for your realtor. And the reason for that is because your realtor would be getting paid from the seller that you're buying the house from. So therefore, there's no cost for your realtor, and they're giving a good service there. So you definitely want to have a realtor, and there's no cost to you for a real estate agent when you're buying a house and not selling. And then a couple of miscellaneous things under closing costs. An example of a miscellaneous would be, let's just say the current owners have paid property tax to the city for the next couple of months. Meanwhile, you're taking possession of the house today. Well, then you would have to reimburse the current owners for the property tax that they've already paid to the city, but then you wouldn't have to pay the city for that period of time because the city was already paid. So that's just an example of a miscellaneous that could come up for closing costs. So within that umbrella of closing costs, normally the bank wants to see that you have an amount of around 1.5% of the purchase price set aside for closing costs. So for example, if it's a $200,000 house, then 1.5% of that would be about $3,000 to set aside for closing costs. If it's $300,000, then 1.5% of that is $4,500 to set aside for closing costs. Not to say that it's going to cost that much. It could be less, it could be more, but that's just a general rule of thumb to keep in mind for when you're budgeting for closing costs. So if you have any questions on that, feel free to give us a call. The number at the office here is 905-436-8010. Thanks, and have a great day.